It's the good people with Eric and Hannah. It is May 28th, and it is episode number 24. So, I'm going to start here. Both of us are, it's no surprise, both of us here are kind of in a somber mood for, glaring obvious reasons. So, I'm just going to I'll start the conversation here.
Okay.
This country has a problem. We have a serious, disturbing problem. We actually have two problems. One is we have a problem where we have a serious problem with gun violence. From my count, I'm probably wrong, but from my count, there's been at least 3 in the past month.
I think at least two.
Right.
I think I'm not sure.
It's the problem is it's too damn many to keep
It's
track
two
of.
right. It shouldn't be any.
It's too damn many to keep track of. The other problem is, and this is the part that's bothering me, and honestly, at this point right now, I don't care about, like my language banning, whatever is the problem. The other problem we have is that no one wants to fucking fix it.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to. The powers that we elect that make the laws and do it, no one wants to fix it. And that's the part that's really bothering me. Like, we all know it's a glaring, lingering problem that several well-developed countries don't have, but we do. And we preach as this country, we're supposed to be the most well-developed country. We're this beacon of freedom and safety and prosperousness, but look at the state we're in. So the two obvious ones we're aware of are, we had the one in, I believe it was Buffalo. A man went and shot up a grocery store in a predominantly colored neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly an act of racial motivation, and the idea that he went and he planned it all ahead of time. It's all premeditated. He had a manifesto on a personal Discord channel. He broadcasted it for, I think the stream lasted roughly 2 minutes. Broadcasted
on Twitch, right?
it on Twitch, which is beside the point, whether it was on Twitch or
Right.
YouTube or whatever. It got on live stream, which is disgusting.
It was broadcasted.
It was broadcasted, which is just disgusting. And it lasted for roughly 2 minutes. And then not even a week and a half later, we have the shooting in Texas. I've always mispronounced the state or the city. Sorry, the city. Is it Ulavie? Let me see if I can look this up. It is Robb Elementary School.
Yes, Robb Elementary School.
And Uvalde, Texas.
Uvalde.
Uvalde.
Okay.
My apologies to the town of Uvalde. And I know this is going to sound like standard form here, but yes. Oh, as soon as I change the window,
Oh, it froze again.
the camera froze again. Reactivating now. I will look at that. Okay, we're back in business there. Okay, so Uvalde, Texas. It's probably going to freeze again because mic volume issue. Okay. Let me go ahead and turn myself down here.
Yeah, I think it just needs to be boosted a little bit on my end.
Apologies there. If you're watching us in the Twitch chat right now, feel free to let me know if the mic volumes are better. So Uvalde, Texas. Yes, obviously we're thinking about you out there, but this one, this one hits home a little bit. I'm not from Texas,
Mm-hmm.
but personally, the person that's sitting right across from me here in the virtual world, you're an educator yourself. So what I can say is when I saw this is like I instantly thought of you. And truth be told, when these situations happen, like this is the first time where it actually hit, where it was like I thought of you.
It's it's weird because um I mean, this sounds so weird to even say it, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This isn't, it's like, and I don't mean for it to sound so blunt, but it's like, it's nothing new now. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Especially because, like, where I live, Parkland, where the Stoneman Douglas shooting happened, I'm only like 30 minutes from Parkland. Like, and so I remember when that happened, and I remember thinking, well, how does this happen so close to home, you know? And so every time I see it, it's just like every time I see it, it's just like a consistent reminder that like we haven't learned anything, that nothing has changed. And it's hard like for everyone that's listening, like before like we had even started this episode, Eric reached out to see like if I would be willing to discuss this, and I'm willing because I just need to give an insight on what it's like to just be a teacher. I'm not someone that has openly said on this podcast that I'm a teacher, but after this, I'm like, I'm a teacher. I go to school every day and I look at these little kids and I love them with all my heart. And to go in like the last few days and look at them and wonder how can any sick, disgusting person out there actually go out and murder innocence, like just pure innocence.
Right.
And it just I had parents like I would take like pictures of the kids like during the day and I would send them to their parents, and I got some responses back that said like thank you so much for sending these. They look like they're having such a great time, like, and one parent said it's such a weird thing to receive these during with everything going on, because there was a parent out there that day that was thinking about their kid. They were just going about their day and their kid was doing the innocent thing that they do at school, learning, playing, having a good time, and all of a sudden they're dead. And it sounds blunt and I know it might upset people for me to just say it, but that's the reality of it. They're gone. And for a child to just go to live their day and go to school and not be safe, it's ridiculous and it's disgusting on every level. I don't know how many times this has to happen for us to wake up.
The
But
it's hard to say because again, we know what the problem is. We know what the issues are. But we're living in a society right now, and this is, like I said, this is the most upsetting part. We live in this society right now where we're so obsessed with playing sides and teams that we can't actually sit down and figure out a way to fix the problem.
it's like there are children that have died.
Yeah, and
I
this
don't
is
care like
not
what
the
side you're
first,
on.
like,
Like
this is
like
not the first time that it's happened. This
right.
should have, after Columbine. Now, personally, if you don't know, I was in high school when Columbine happened.
What year was Columbine again? I don't think I was
Um,
born yet. I might have been.
2000, I believe.
Was it?
99 or 2000.
Oh,
If
was
I
it?
if
Oh,
I
it was 1999. So, but I was I was very young, so I don't remember
so
Columbine.
I personally was if it's 99, I think a sophomore, maybe a junior in high school. So that hit home because
Mhm.
I was of that age. And then
Okay.
this is the era that started when the
Mhm.
drills and all that kind of stuff started happening. Now we
Mhm.
have to prepare for this kind of stuff. After that situation, this should have never happened again.
Mhm.
It damn well should have never happened at the frequency that it's happening.
Mhm.
You know, and this is the part that's disturbing. Like, excuse me, disturbing. It's why do we keep coming back to this kind of stuff, and it just keeps happening and the problem is, and another problem is, it's all senseless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's completely senseless and savage, and it's just, and then the powers that be, the ones that protect the weapons,
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind how I say this, the ones that protect the weapons, they do everything in their power to deflect the problem away from the weapons to the actual, they deflect everything away from the actual problem, which is the weapons
Mm-hmm.
and the access to the weapons, to these
Mm-hmm.
other solutions and issues. They're going to sit there and they're going to blame video games. This person played violent video games, watched violent TV shows. News for you, I've been watching that stuff for decades, and I'm not going to go shoot up my school, my workplace, my church, anything like that. Why? Because I was raised to know that that was wrong. I was
Mm-hmm.
raised by parents, thankfully, that had a strong sense of humanity and compassion for other human beings, that I know I would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could sit there and watch violent video games and play and watch violent movies, listen to aggressive, violent music all in the world, and I would not go hurt another human being senselessly like that.
It's, honestly, it's because the world is so money driven that people can't just let go of the idea of losing their money versus like a child's life, right? So in this case, with all these weapons, I don't care what side you are on with like the whole like, oh, I want to be able to carry my gun or whatever. Like, okay, whatever. But there's absolutely no reason to have or to own any kind of semi-automatic bull crap. I know nothing about guns, but like these weapons that were clearly designed for mass casualty.
Right.
This isn't the gun that you keep at your side drawer, the gun that you keep to protect your family. God forbid someone comes in. This isn't the gun that you go and you shoot, at a gun range or you go hunting with. These are weapons that are designed to massively murder large groups of people. Give me a reason for it. There's none. It just doesn't make any sense to
And
me. But like,
on that point, this is the thing the other side are doing. These supporters of, maintaining these weapons, they're saying, well, show me where it was an automatic weapon. No, it was a military style
mhm,
weapon. Like, stop with these nitpicky details to try to make yourself
mhm,
sound smart and intelligent,
yeah,
and trying to get the upper hand on the conversation and the argument, when it's clearly, whether it was semi-automatic, fully automatic, whatever, it was a weapon designed for mass casualty, like you said.
mhm,
That's what it's designed for.
yeah,
I'm on the same argument. So I will say here, I'm not opposed to people owning a gun. My
yeah,
father owned one, and granted, he sold it to another
mm,
family member when me and my brother were born. But I know who has it, and full disclosure, I intend to purchase that gun back because it was my father's, right?
mhm,
But it is a 6-shooter revolver. It is not a weapon
mm,
is of mass casualty. It is not a AR-15 or an AK-47, whatever the military style
mhm,
weapon. It's not one of those,
yeah,
because I don't understand where these people get this, because that's the argument they always go back to too. I have the right to defend my home. You do not need that to defend your home. If you need that to
well,
defend your home, you're a bad shot.
mhm,
And you need to go back to the shooting range and get yourself in order. If you need an AR-15 to take down a person breaking into your home, you got an issue.
mhm,
So there's that. And then hunting. Oh, I like to hunt. You don't need an AR-15 to take down a deer.
yeah,
And it pisses me off because these people all look the same.
mhm,
They all rock this military cap with the same damn Oakleys and the damn gray white beard. You know,
yeah,
like, it's our right. It's our Second Amendment right. The country, when that amendment was written, we didn't have AR-15s and
no,
AK-47s and weapons of mass casualty. They had fucking muskets. You
yeah.
know, pump the gunpowder into the damn thing and fire.
Huh.
You know,
It's but the thing is though, it's all you say is like something has to be done, and like what irritates me more than anything is like oh, well, like, don't touch my guns, right? Like you said.
Right.
This shouldn't even do you realize that I think the final count as of right now it's 19,
Right.
right? For 19 people have lost their lives. And your first thought is don't touch my gun?
Right.
That's
Don't.
your first thought? Your first thought is don't touch my gun? It should be what can we do? How can we make this better? How
Right.
it's I'm
It's a
I get mad. I
yeah.
just
I'm frustrated. I'm beyond frustrated because again, if we go back to these same arguments, we know the problems are okay. Yes, mental health is an issue. That the side that backs the guns has done nothing to help with the mental health case issues in America. You know, I don't know if like I'm not asking you personally, but I don't know whoever's listening. I don't know like you realize how much like how many insurance policies out there do not cover mental health.
Mhm.
You know, mental health is one of the issues. The other thing too is the access to them. You can, I know if anyone listens and piss someone off enough with this conversation, but someone's going to be like, you have no idea how to project. Like, from what I understand, there are several places you can go and not get a background check. And you can go buy a rifle at a gun show, like an open trade gun show, and not have to go through the same policies and procedures that you would in an actual gun shop, licensed gun shop.
Mhm.
You know, so like I plead ignorance too if I'm completely wrong on that, but there is a lot of ways to get one without actually having to go through proper channels. The other thing I think about it too on top of it is like there needs to be federal regulation across the board on this.
Mhm.
This whole sticking it to the states, like let the states figure it out, doesn't work. Because we have a lot of states out there run by these damn yahoos that are like, yeah, we don't need it. You know, someone in the chat just mentioned this quote here: "Guns don't kill people; people kill people, or people kill people." Okay, how about we don't easily supply them with? I'm going to get to that right now.
Yeah.
So they just, these Yahoo states where they're just like, yeah, go ahead, you can go and buy one. Texas itself passed laws to make it easier to obtain them. And then there was some tweet by the governor over there that was like, oh, we're behind in sales. We could do better. Like, moron. I'm sorry, Texas. There's people in Texas that I love dearly, but that state's run by idiots. It's literally run by idiots. And I'll name them out here because I don't care anymore. The Ted Cruzes, the Abbotts, the Marjorie Taylor Greens or whatever, the damn Jerry Springers of the political world, like, they're really morons. And they just lacks common sense. Mm-hmm. It's not that it lacks common sense, it's they care more about the political affiliation of their parties. And they call it their constituents. No, it's the money that lines their pockets. And we can go on about this too, where it's like, well, let's not make them easy access. One thing I'm talking about is like, we keep talking about the laws, right? Like, make the laws stricter. Yes, that needs to happen. Why don't we just cut the fucking manufacturing of them? Like, why don't we just cut production of them down? Cut the production down to the point where these weapons only need to get into the hands of the individuals that need them, the military. And to an extent, specialized police, SWAT, I don't know, but specialized people that need access to these. Cut the manufacturing down to it. Oh, people are going to lose jobs. I'm sorry. I would rather someone lose a job and bounce back later in life than to lose another child that's never going to come back. Mm-hmm. And then this argument about like, well, the bad guys are going to get him anyway. So what's the point? Fucking, what kind of argument is that? Like, oh, they're going to get him anyway, so let's not bother trying.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Like,
let's not even bother trying, right? Like, oh, they're going to get him anyway. Fuck it. Let's just not even bother. Let's not waste our time. But these are the same idiots that will go out there and say, hey, you as a woman, you can't choose what to do with your body. I'm going to protect that baby in your belly, but once they're out of your belly and they're in a school and they get shot up, hey, Sorry, my gun. Don't take my gun. Make the shit make sense to me.
Mhm.
You know, I don't have all the answers. I see the not argument, but I see the conversation brewing in the Twitch chat here. I see the conversation brewing. I don't have all the answers. Obviously, I'm not an expert on any of this by any means, which the people in the chat all bring up valid points. You know, the black market. The black market's a severe issue.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm sorry if I'm not saying much. It's I
you have every right to feel how you feel right now.
I was
Oh,
telling Dustin that I'll go into like this point. This can paint a little bit of a picture for everybody. This wasn't currently where I am, but this was my last job. So basically I've pretty much always been a teacher for the most part. Um, and I remember I was out at lunch. I was sitting outside, and we have like this thing that essentially it like on our phones that like gives us like alerts, whether it's fire drill, whether it's anything, like it'll give us an alert, like active shooter, whatever, or suspicious package, anything like that. So I'm eating lunch and I hear my phone make like the noise, and so I check it. I don't remember because this was like a few years ago, so I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was enough for me, something along the lines of like seek shelter or like hide or, and my first instinct was to run back to my classroom to make sure that I can help my other teachers and to make sure my kids are safe. So I ran back. Like I was probably like I ran across campus back to go to my classroom. And so I walked in there and I remember my coworkers are like, "Well, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I came back." And so like essentially it ended up being like a false alarm. Something got hit like on the I don't know what happened,
right.
but it was a false alarm. And they had, I guess, like, the school had gone over, like, procedures or whatever, and I don't remember if it was, like, my coworkers or somebody told me, but they're like, "In a case like this, the first thing that you're supposed to do is hide in a place that you know that you can barricade yourself." So I'm not technically supposed to run to my classroom because I could, in this scenario, like let's give a scenario here, I could run into the shooter, right?
Right.
I could open up a door that unlocks itself and then that gives the shooter grounds to like walk in, you know what I mean? I'm supposed to find like the closest spot, whether it's a bathroom or a closet, and barricade and lock myself in there. But, like, on first instinct, my first instinct is I gotta go protect these kids. I'm not thinking, like,
Right.
of myself. I'm not I need to go barricade these children. I need to go hide them away. I need to keep them quiet. I need to do all these things. My first instinct is not for me to go hide in a bathroom. It's to make sure that my kids are safe and that I can stand in front of them, God forbid, if something happens. And then I sat and thought about it later, and I was like, "How can I use my F-bomb here?"
You can. I've dropped like
I was
4 f bombs. Screw it.
Okay. I was like, "How fucked up is it that I have to even be thinking about this? And how I have to even consider this? And how, God forbid, if there was a shooter on campus and something did happen and had to hide myself away at my like, the first closet I found or the first bathroom I found, and to know later that something happened to my kids, I couldn't live with myself."
And I will say right now, you did more in a fire drill than these actual officers did in a real life scenario. Because again, that's a complete disaster in itself. I'm bringing it up now because someone in the chat had mentioned the complete like law enforcement response to that whole situation is abysmal. When they go and they sign up for that, they sign up very well knowing they can run into this situation. They sign up for that. They're trained on it. And then to sit there, I don't have all the details because that stuff's all coming out. Like those details are all coming out more and more, but
Yeah.
it's upwards of 40 some odd minutes before the police actually made a move. And then to sit there and the response was like, well, there's a guy in there shooting. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then that negates that argument where they say, well, let's give people more guns. That way, that guy wouldn't have gotten as far as
I
he
hate
did.
the ones that are like, "Oh, we need to equip our teachers." I know nothing about holding a gun. Like, can you
You're a
imagine
standard
being
human being.
strapped up me strapped up with a loaded weapon while I'm dealing with children, like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
This is their argument. Let's give them more weapons. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard because again, these are high stress scenarios. Yes, you're trained to shoot at a practice target, you know, in a gun range, etc., etc. But when there's a guy blasting with an automatic weapon, you're expecting to be able to hit on point at the drop of a hat. You're not trained for that. You're not mentally trained to handle that. Very few human beings are in the world. You know, like very few. Thank you. Someone in the chat just get the complete irony. Let's stop weapons with more weapons. Like, no, that doesn't work because clearly it's been shown that even the officers didn't know how to handle the situation. Clearly.
Every school, like every place, every education system I've worked for, even when I've done like internships and stuff like that, there's always like a class, not even like, I don't know if a class, a workshop. It's a
Yeah.
workshop on school safety. And that's not me blaming the schools. They have to do it.
They have to do it.
That's not their fault. But like, of course, like we sit through them, we get like the emails, you know, we watch like the webinars, go to the workshops, you know,
And it's just,
and
it's a standard routine now. This is part of your standard training as a teacher and your education to become an educator is how to handle these situations. It's me when I go to work. We have it now. Like we have it. And it's just like, well, this is the necessary thing. Like, and the other thing again, we hold on to this constitutional amendment. We hold on to this constitutional amendment that we have the right to these things, but that stuff again was written with no ideas how the country would evolve, or in this particular case, de-evolve over time. You know, that's the thing that's like, okay, the Constitution is designed to be amended. We've done it before for lesser things. We did it for alcohol. We banned alcohol.
no.
But, you
But
know,
people won't ban guns.
we won't ban guns. You know, I got to take my shoes off to get into the airport now. But you waltz into a school with a gun.
The thing that I've learned, or I'm sorry, go ahead.
You know, and I'll wind down here because I'm getting frustrated. I'm giving myself a heart attack. The other thing here is like, well, the kid was 18. 18-year-olds should not be purchasing these things.
There's absolutely no reason for it. Like if alcohol's 21, why are we giving them guns at 8? Like why are we allowing 18-year-olds to purchase guns?
Because they're old enough to die for their country. Dumb. They're trained to handle that weapon when they go into the military. And the issues that happen when children, 18-year-olds that we claim as adults, what happens when they get out of the military or come from war or whatever is a whole separate issue. The PTSD and all that stuff that happens there. But that's their argument there. You're old enough to die for your country. You can hold a firearm. Like, no, you're trained to hold it when you go into training. Again, stupid arguments. You know, this kid should have not been able to walk in because let's keep in mind, he purchased them legally. You know, he went into there, purchased them. From what I don't know if this is true or not, but the word is credit. He got it on credit. You know, and I don't think it's the bank's responsibility. The bank was just doing what like they're following the law. Like he went into the store, he purchased it, and you know.
I don't know all the ins and outs. Like I don't. And
again,
this
an 18-year-old.
This is a genuine question here. If he purchased this legally, I just wonder personally how anyone, and I don't know where he ended up getting it, but if it was done legally, but how could anyone hand, military style guns and sell it to them and not think that's strange? Does not any like how does anyone go, oh yeah, like, oh, you're freshly 18, you're here to buy a couple of whatevers? That's not weird to me. I'm going to sell them to you. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't see how
it doesn't make sense, but on their side of it, it's a state with a society that finds it acceptable. Oh, you're getting an AR, you're becoming a man. You know, you don't need a 6-shooter, you need this clock. You know, like, it's BS bullshit. Again, there needs to be a whole revamp of this stuff at the federal level, and we need to stop, like, because we're always going to have these states. Every time we give states control of something and let them do something for everything, like give them full control of something that's severely dangerous, these Yahoo states always make it dangerous. You know, there's some state, Indiana or something like that, you don't need a license. You don't need, like, you need a license to drive, but you don't need a license to fucking purchase a gun. It's complete moronic. And someone brought this up too. Yeah, like 25, you're not, I can't even, like, you can rent a car at under 25, but you're paying a gross increase. But
I don't even think you can rent a car like under 25, can you?
Well, again, this is a state thing. Like, California allows it.
Oh, it's a
but
state thing.
Like,
Okay.
California allows it, but most places like Hertz or Enterprise or whatever, they will severely increase the rate. Like, they jack up the price.
Mhm.
I rented a car for $40 because we went to San Diego. $35 I rented a Mustang, right?
Wow.
And then Pal rented like a little like 4-door or whatever. She went to go rent a little 4-door economy thing, and it was like $80 for the day.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
But like, see, that's a perfect example. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, you know. Again,
It,
in that state, you're becoming a man. Here's your AR. You know, show them what you're made of, son. You know, again, this is the society that the society specifically there that accepts this. You know, and then when something happens, they come up with these stupid ass ideas. Oh, let's barricade the school and turn it into a prison. Motherfucker, fire. Oh, now you're going to... And then on top of that, common sense tells you a damn choke point. Oh, all the kids are going to be plowing out the front door now. Just stand right here. Make it easy for me. Again, none of the stuff makes sense. These idiots come up with these ideas because they're doing everything in they can to power to protect themselves or protect their money from the gun lobby and to protect this, you know, this image that they have that they look out for their constituents. I can guarantee you all these people out there like sending thoughts and prayers and blah, 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 blah. The second they heard this happen, the first thing out of their mind was like, shit, what's the political situation going to be? What's the PR behind this going to be? They don't care that these children died. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. They don't care. They care about how they're going to spin it and how they're going to protect the guns. That's the situation that we have with this. You know, I was telling Pal this the other day. Ted Cruz, his kids go to a private school probably. He gets to hug his children at night. You know, oh, that's terrible. That's tragic. I'm a parent. Da 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 da. You know, again, it's I'm sorry. Cut the manufacturing of the things, strictly limit the manufacturing of the things. We need to stop making this thing a right, and we need to start making it a privilege. Just like my damn automobile. You know, like we need to start like making, you know, if you want to own one, you need to go through all the hurdles to get it.
I don't see anything wrong with and I'm not someone that's against, like I said earlier, I'm not someone that's against you having your gun to, if it's concealed, like as far as like responsible, you know,
Right.
I think you have a right to have a gun if
Exactly.
you want to have it in your home.
We don't need rifles.
And if I decided that I wanted to go get my concealed license, I would hope and pray that you would do the absolute best mental health check on me that you possibly could, because
Right.
I don't have a problem going through it.
And background
Like, I don't have a
checks?
problem I don't have a problem you evaluating me. I don't have a problem, you know, if I purchase a gun knowing getting my fingerprints, anything, like I have no problem at all. Whatever you need to do to make sure another child doesn't die. Absolutely.
Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, again, and then the insurance behind it. You want a firearm? You better you're going to pay insurance. And then you're going to bear the full responsibility when someone gets a hold of your weapon and uses it for mass casualty. You see what I'm getting at? Like, I own this weapon. I take the responsibility of its security and making sure that it doesn't get into the wrong hands. That's my responsibility. If I fail to handle that responsibility, then this shit's on me.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it too. And then, you know, insurance it through the roof. Again, make it a damn privilege. Oh, well, then you're going to make it to where only rich people can afford guns. Well, their argument too is that the rich people are the more intelligent ones. You know, they're more responsible beacons of society because of their wealth. They create the jobs, they lead the country, blah 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 blah. Like, fuck off. You know. Again, I'm so pissed off at this side and I'm not saying all people on that side are bad. I'm not out there saying that all these Republicans are terrible, because there's a lot out there right now that are coming out and realizing, like, hey,
This is effed up. Like,
this is fucked up. Like, we need to, we need to start actually doing, and hopefully they start coming up with some common sense solutions rather than just ban video games, lock the schools down like a prison, and blah 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 blah. Like, they need to knock it off.
And I'm not saying, no, I'll just say it how it is. You're putting pressure and stress on a profession that is already severely undervalued as it is.
And underpaid.
I am not paid. Well, I will protect these kids no matter what.
Right.
It doesn't matter, because I look at them like my own children sometimes.
Because
Like,
that's my instinct. If that ever, my instinct is to grab my children and whatever child is around me and strapped on me as much as I can and run. You know,
like, and I've sat in the classroom sometimes, and it's sad. I have to even visualize this. I'm like, okay, if they came in this way, I could go that way, but how do I keep them quiet? They're gonna be stressed. They're gonna be crying. They're gonna be, and so you're going through a bunch of different things, like, in your head scenarios, and it's like, I shouldn't. Like, a teacher's responsibility is to love, nurture, teach the kids, you know? And the messed up part is even when I was taking education courses in college, you learn very quickly that for many of these children, their only safe place is in a school. For some of them, it's the only meal they'll ever receive that day. It's the only time that they're able to socialize, be with friends, be with people that love and care for them, depending on their background. And so now what we're doing is we're taking the only safe place that they have, and we're making it one of the most unsafe places for them. Like, if society just wants to give a middle finger to kids, like, come on, they're children, they're innocent, they haven't been touched by this world yet, they're learning, they're growing, they deserve a shot, they just deserve a chance at life.
Yet they want us to populate the world with more of them. Make it make sense.
And yet, and they want to, like, just let the gun thing go. They just want to, because people care more about their money than they do kids.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's just, we know what the problems are. Like, we know what the problems are. The real disturbing issue is we're not doing anything to try and fix it. We're trying to protect the glaring obvious when, you know, we're dancing around it. Like, we're dancing around the pole, you know? We're trying to figure out how to get around this pillar rather than just knocking down the pillar. You know? It's wild. It's wild, you know. I'm going to look at some of the comments here in the chat if you're listening to us on your Apple, your Spotify, thanks for joining us, whatever your podcast listening choice is. If you're watching us on Twitch, we appreciate it too. And soon enough, when this goes up on YouTube, we appreciate you watching it here also. It's a very, very difficult subject. And like I said, it's going to garner some people to get angry. It's going to garner conversation. There's going to be people that agree with us. There's going to be people that disagree with us. And that's expected and that's understandable. But I think it's just one of those things where it's like, we have to work together to work on something in the middle. I'll even dumb it down. We need to actually at least try to attempt to fix the problem. Because that's the problem we have right now, is we're not attempting to fix it. That's the thing that angers me most. We're not doing anything to try to fix it.
No, you're giving the responsibilities to the schools and the teachers.
You're basically saying,
like,
hey,
not my problem. Here you go, teacher. And meanwhile, while you're trying to figure out how to barricade your classroom, we're going to severely underpay you. And we're also going to give you lesson plans of this and that. And so not only are you, at first you were just a teacher to these kids, and now you are, and I'm talking in general, like, a teacher to these kids, but you're also their protector. You're also their provider. You're giving teachers so many different hats, when it's like a majority of us had gone into the profession being like, I just want to, like, give kids a safe place, educate them, push them to their best ability. And now it's like, now I got to worry about if I have to stand between them and a shooter.
So there's an interesting point brought up in the chat. We're going to kind of go through these comments here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll take our break. So there's a thing of the teacher thing is getting some conversation here. One of the comments here, I don't think it should be the first priority. If the teachers feel they are mentally capable, licensed, and have gone through the training and exams to be sound enough on their own will, that's the key where they're on their own will, then I support that. Okay. I side with this. But I side with this in the whole thing where it's like, again, not just the teachers, but everyone that attempts to hold a weapon needs to go through all the proper mental checks, background checks. Because, and realistically, too, a background check,
Mhm.
it just simply tells you the dude hasn't done it yet. You know,
Mhm.
he's clean up to this point.
Mhm.
Doesn't talk about, what he's going to do. A background check, or not background, I'm sorry, a psychological check may help determine that. What do they
Mhm.
intend to do? You know, so there's that point. But like, yes, if teachers or staff or whatever go through the proper training and they're proven to be mentally capable to handle the stressful situation like that, then, and
Mhm.
it's by their own will, and they realize that they're putting their life on the line and at risk for the children, then yeah, I can see that.
Mhm.
Someone else brought, if someone else had mentioned here, like the research should actually be done on this, like test studies.
Mhm.
What happens if we actually do arm a teacher or a campus worker or administration? Like what happens? What actually happens if we do, like do tests on it? Like, is this a valid solution? Again,
I
the
know there
science
just
the
needs to be
science guy in me goes like, okay,
there just needs to be steps at this point because unfortunately what just ends up happening is we get another shooting, we get another mass, casualty incident, and then it's like, what do we do? And then there's nothing done. We just talk about it. We tweet about it. Political parties tweet about it, and they say, "Oh, it's so sad," and it is. We have the right to say like, it's sad. And thoughts and prayers, but behind thoughts and prayers should be action. There should
um,
be, and instead, every time we see there's nothing.
I'm looking up this question. Someone asked in the chat, does any state require a psychological test?
I would be surprised if there are none. I wouldn't be surprised.
Uh, for let's see here. I don't see any, like, how when you type in something in Google, it gives you like
Yeah.
bolded answers there, like right away from the search thing. None of those results come up. Like, there's no state, no nothing that mentions anything about mental health to purchase a gun and raise the damn age. I'm sorry, stop giving 18-year-olds access to these things. Because apparently the kid was bullied. We hear this story all the time. They were
Yeah, this story
bullied.
all
They
the
were,
time.
you know, it's so to answer the question in the chat there, I do not see any direct answer to that question. There's no state that requires a psychological evaluation. uh it's disturbing. I'm sorry to start the actually to dedicate so much time on this difficult topic, but like it's just one of those things where it's like we can't escape it. Like it's it bugged me all week. It bugged me all week, and I sat there and I processed all this, and I didn't say anything on Twitter about it because number one, I don't go to Twitter to. I don't want to. I don't want to use it as an engagement. You
Mhm.
know, I don't want to sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, guns are bad," blah blah blah, and then garner engagement on Twitter because that's not the point. I sat there and I thought and I processed and I'd be like, what can I do? And like I said, I'm honest. I don't have all the answers. Obviously,
Mhm.
none of us have all the answers, but we need to start trying to find them. We need to start finding, like, we need to start working together and try to find solutions because right now we're not doing anything. We just keep dancing around the damn pillar when the pillar's the problem. Put a fence around the pillar. That'll make it easier. No, idiots. Um, on that note, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a quick break here. I'll refill this coffee and smoke a joint. Relieve the tension I have right now. I'm not gonna do that, but Shit like this is what makes sobriety difficult. Truth be
Uh,
told. Yeah. Rough. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a break. You've been listening to Good People with Eric and Hannah. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. It's the Good People with Eric and Hannah. We've been hanging out. We've bypassed the very difficult part of the podcast today. So we're gonna take a deep breath. We're gonna relax.
I took several in the bathroom.
Are you doing okay? You feel better?
Yeah, I mean, I just it comes and goes. I mean,
No, I feel
I
you.
think right in the beginning I didn't even talk about it just because like you just get worn out. It's like I don't even want to talk about it, like,
And then
you
Eric
know. And
comes
then
in and
like
fires you up.
well, no, it's then when I went into work like the day after, because it happened during the day at school, like while I was at work. But I didn't, because I don't keep my phone with me like all the
Right.
time. I don't check the news.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
have it silenced on a lot of things. So I actually didn't find out until like I had got home that evening, and like I saw like a live, like, you know how
You
TikTok
see
has
like the whole
lives?
aftermath of everything and
Yeah,
like
like,
the
and I was like,
chaos,
what happened? And then I saw it, and then
heartbroken,
people
and
started
then
to like put things on like Instagram, and like I'd seen it, and then I went to work the next day, and I was just like, ugh.
on a much happier note, we'll
Mhm.
spend the last hour here. Let's play catch up.
Okay.
Even though I see you every day or talk to you every single day, but you're wearing a mighty nice shirt right now, I have to
I
say.
know. Look.
Roll back so that people can see. There you go.
Oop, lost my.
Hannah is, if you're listening right now in the listening world, Hannah is rocking the Uniqlo Final Fantasy XIV shirt. I bought a couple for myself. So here's what happened. Oh, you wanted one, Dustin? No, Hannah didn't say anything.
You called me at work, and so I was like, okay, now I got to tell the story.
Well,
so I'm at
let me
work.
go on with what
Okay.
happened. Then you'll tell your part.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I see the tweet, the Uniqlo Final Fantasy 14 thing. I'm a big Final Fantasy 14, like not 14, but I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. Like I'm old school, right? I grew up on these games.
Mhm.
So I see this Uniqlo thing, and I see that they're doing a shirt for every game up until 15, I think. Oh no, they did a 16, I think. But they did one for every game.
Mhm.
And the first thing I look for is Final Fantasy VI. If you don't know, Final Fantasy VI is Final Fantasy III in America on the Super Nintendo. Final Fantasy VI is my favorite one. So the first thing I look for is the Final Fantasy VI. Sure, and it's them in the big gigantic walker robots crossing the snow, and I'm like, I want it, right?
Mhm.
And then I start scrolling and I see the Final Fantasy XIV one. I'm like, these things are awesome. Okay, well, and then I sent the link to Hannah. I'm like, Hannah, there's a Final Fantasy XIV shirt. You're gonna want in on this, girl. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna check it out, right? So Uniqlo opens at some weird time. They open at like 10 or 11 or something during the week. It's weird, right? And I'm like, oh, it's closed. I went on my break to go see if it was open. I was gonna grab them, but like they were closed. I was like, okay, I'll check on my lunch break. I get back to my office and I get at my desk and I start scrolling through Twitter.
Mhm.
And it's trending. Uniqlo is trending, and I'm like, shit. So I start looking through the tweets, right? And
Yeah.
it's sold out. It's sold out everywhere. Blah, like the online, there's no sizes. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh crap. Well, I sigh, and then I get off whatever conference call or whatever I'm on right at that time, and I'm like, I'm gonna go down there now. I'm just gonna run there because it's a block from my work. It's a block from my
Mhm.
office in downtown. So I'm like, I'm gonna go.
Mhm.
And then I go down there and praying I get lucky. And the guy's like, oh yeah, the Final Fantasy 14 or the Final Fantasy stuff's upstairs. So I go upstairs and the end cap is just stacked. Like nobody touched it.
Mhm.
And I call Hannah because the first thing I looked out for Hannah, I'm like, I'm staring at like several of these Final Fantasy 14 shirts. They're all out on Twitter, like according to online, they're all out. What size do you need? And she's just like, grab me this. And I'm like, okay, I grab it. And then I start going through and I'm like, I want my Final Fantasy 6. They didn't carry my size in the store. So when I put this thing on, it fits, but like you'll look at me and you'll be like, yeah, bro, you gotta size up, you know, like. And if I wash it, God help me, it'll look like a halter top. So, but I have it. I have a 6, and then I'm like, the 7 one. Maybe I should get the 7 because 7's my second favorite. I'm like, do I
Mhm.
get the 7 one? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get the 7 one. And then I got the 4, and I'm like, I didn't even plan on spending this today. Like, I didn't plan on spending $40 on t-shirts today for myself, but I'm like, here we are. But so Hannah is rocking the Final Fantasy XIV Uniqlo. I don't know what size Dustin needs. There was
It would be an XL, right?
okay.
XL. It would be the same, like, because this fits, like, this is loose. I like my shirts to be loose, because I usually tuck them in or I can tie them.
It's actually very,
Uh,
very cute, guys. If you haven't seen Hannah, like when she dresses like for her normal tunes, it's very like 90s with the t-shirt flowy and tucked in, and then she's got the belt with her jeans and everything. It's very 90s and it's very cute. So
it just works for me. I fell
yeah,
into like the whole mom
it's a
jeans
vibe.
thing.
It's a look. When Hannah like really, goes full swing on it, it's a look and it's a vibe.
Aw, thank you. I
It's very
appreciate that.
90s. I love it. So
So it
go
was
ahead,
funny because
continue.
I was at work, and usually, like, people like I usually don't get calls at work. Like with the iPhones. Well, you don't. Can't remember. You don't have an
I
iPhone,
don't have
right?
an
Or you,
iPhone.
that's right.
Oh,
Okay,
cool.
so with the iPhones, they have like a work setting mode. So like when I drive into work, it checks the location. And it's like, okay, Hannah's at work.
Well, that's
We
clever.
silence we silence her phone. So
Right.
like I only get notifications from like my teammates, my boss,
And like
like
your
the work group
parents.
chat, my parents, because
Right.
they only know to call me if there's an emergency, and Dustin. For whatever reason, like the thing didn't work that day, or it didn't pick up on the location. So
No,
I'm
I'm
sitting on the
important.
floor. I'm playing with the kids. I'm like having fun, we're just like goofing off, and like I'm reading stories and playing games, and my back pocket is vibrating, and so like I'm like, oh, it must be emergency, and it's like Eric, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what happened? Like, I start to freak out because I'm like, why would Eric call me? Eric never calls me. It wasn't even on Discord. It was like on the
Right.
phone.
I
So I
very
was like,
rarely call her at work,
so
or
I was
I
like,
very call herself.
hello. I know I'm like holding this one kid. I'm like, hello. And he's like, hey, I'm at the store. Like, what size are you? I'm like, okay.
Because I sent you the thing
So,
before. I was like, oh my God, this thing's like a situation. There's no one
yeah.
left, and
Yeah.
we were like, I'm like, which size do you want? They had, I think yours was like, they had one left.
Oh, the XL?
I think there was like one left. And I'm like, well, there you go. And then but it's fun. So, okay. So you've been doing the club scene on Final Fantasy
The
14.
club scene. I have to talk about the club scene because it's so fun. Okay. So I ended up, um, I'll reveal a little bit of like how much like of a nerd I am, because I don't really get much crap for this anymore. But like I don't know if I told you, on WoW I'm a role player. So like,
You're old
have I ever
school.
told you? I'm an old school like role player. Literally, I have backstories for my character, and so like I go through like these times in my life where I'm like, I just want to write. Like, it's a good escapism for me. So I ended up back on WoW because for me, I'm the kind of person that if I don't know like the backstory or the lore, I don't feel confident in role playing it. So I already know WoW. I was like, I've been off for several months ever since like the whole Blizzard thing. I'm like, I'm gonna log back on and just kind of start up again and role play a bit. And I was getting back into it, and then Dustin ended up back on Final Fantasy XIV, playing with like our friends Erica and Val and Jason and Meg and Carla, and they're not all on the game right now, but they're we'll sit in the
They all
Discord with
pop
them.
in and out.
They pop
And
into like the Discord chat, and who was it? Was it Meg, Jason, Dustin, and I were like club hopping on Final Fantasy XIV because people make clubs. And like they hire DJs that stream the music on Twitch. I'm not even kidding. Like, listen, if this sounds crazy, go do it. It's so much fun. I'm not a partier by any means, but I was like, I logged off WoW that night, and I was just like, we're going
so here's what's funny.
clubbing.
I never get messages from Hannah at
Yeah.
10:30 at night. 10:30. Like this never happens because it's what, 1 a.m. over there.
10, 11, 12. Yeah, it would be like 1:30. Like we're
1:30
3
in the
hours
morning. I'm
apart.
like, the hell's this girl doing up at 1:30? That's what I
Did
said,
you
right?
message me? Did you message me saying like, why are you still up or something like
No,
that?
I
I
don't
feel
remember, but we'd have to go
yeah,
look. But like, I was like
yeah.
1:30. I'm like, this girl's never up at 1:30. What the hell? This has got to be like the thing. And she's like, you need to jump on this Final Fantasy 14 club scene. And she sends me this picture of what's the little one on your shirt called? What do they call that
the
race?
The Lalafels, the
The
little
Lalafell,
Lalafell.
yeah, the Lullafells or whatever are on there, and they're all like like vibing. They're having the best time of their life, better than a lifetime I'm having right now, right?
I
I was like,
uh,
I'm like, these little Final
uh,
Fantasy 14 fools are turned
do
up.
you wanna share the photo? Like, do you want me to repost it so you
Repost the
can show
photo.
us?
We'll send this photo out so that people can
Okay.
see. So yeah, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Here we go. Let me take a look at this here. I've got to. Oh, my mouse is still plugged in. So let me go ahead and go to. I'm clicking the right one because.
There are 2 of them.
Okay, here we go. Where am I going? General. Okay. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Hold on, bear with me. Let me get to the OBS side of things. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm here we go. Wait, no, not that. Here we go. Almost clicked the wrong thing.
I have a few photos actually.
So here's the thing. I'm staring at this photo and I'm like, what the hell is this? This looks like Dustin. I instantly thought this was Dustin.
That is Dustin. The little Lala.
And that totally like, and I'm not judging Dustin at all. Justin has his style. I'm like, this totally looks like a shirt Dustin would wear like at a club. Like if we were in LA and I was like, hey, we're all going to a club. I feel like this is the shirt Dustin would wear. So I'm like, that's Dustin. My cam froze again. Okay. Thank you. Really, please, Agato, help me. Actually, if anyone knows anyone that works over at the Aver Media side of things, I would like to talk to them and get me a solution that works. But so I'm looking at this club scene thing, right? And then let me go back here to the browser. It's probably going to do it again. Fair warning.
It's okay. I sent you 3 photos.
Okay, hold on. And then let me go back here. And then there's and I'm looking at this.
So, okay, I can tell you where Dustin is, like right above him, a little to the right, that's Jason. And then a little like diagonal to his left is Meg.
So
Not
this
his
is
left,
Meg
but
right
our
here?
left.
Or
She's the one, like her face is covered a little bit by the glow stick. So you're looking at Dustin.
This one right here.
It's not showing me your cursor for whatever
it's not
reason.
showing. So if you look at the big glowing orb in the middle there to the left, that red little mini lightsaber thing.
That's Meg.
Okay.
And then to the right of that orb is Jason. And then it's Dustin, and then in front of Dustin is myself.
I
And then
think this is going
behind
to
me.
I think this is going to be the episode thumbnail of this, the club scene or something like that. And then there's one more here, and I'm like, this is 1:30 in the morning for me, and I'm baffled. Okay, this one's adorable, guys. This one's low key adorable. Like, look at this. Like they're having the time of their life, right? Like. And then there's this dude in the back corner here, you know, vibing, chilling. But I'm like, so when you send me this stuff, there's a bunch of emotions running through me, right? One, I'm like, so they pay $14.99 to do this virtual club. And I'm like, so the metaverse thing's real. And it's been real. And then the second thing is like, I canceled the game because I did not get this experience. I'm out there collecting buckets of water and nuts and berries and shit for 5 hours, 6 hours, and I'm paying to do this. I'm paying to work in a virtual world. And I'm like, screw this game. This is stupid. And I'm like,
gosh.
what the hell am I doing? Like, it was dumb. Take this jam over to so-and-so in the so-and-so side of town, and then I get some armor and some gold for it. I'm like, I'm working. Like, why am I paying to work in a virtual world?
Okay, so the crazy part about this is they have club websites. Do you remember the name of that one club? Because I got to send you the link to the club website.
These are Final Fantasy like virtual clubs, like.
But the thing is, Final Fantasy they don't make them. Essentially, it would be like if I decided to open up a club. Like, or if me and Dustin were like, let's build a house because there's a housing system in Final Fantasy
I
14.
understand all that. Like there's a
Yeah,
housing and building system, but what you're
yeah,
telling me is that
yeah.
someone actually takes this club from the Final Fantasy world and actually puts it into the real world and builds a website and all that stuff for it.
Yes. So, like, they'll go on Final Fantasy, they'll build, like, a club using, like, their guild, and they'll take furniture and put everything together and lights because you have this, like, housing system, and so you can make it, how you could make it like, I've seen people make things into diners or cafes, or you can make it to a little house for your character. Some people just take those spaces, they'll go and they'll buy property because you can buy property in the game, and they'll open clubs, and then them and their friends get together, and they like, when we walked into one of the clubs, this person, like, whispered us, and they're like, "Hey, welcome to club so and so, just go down these
Do they have
stairs," and,
dirty
like,
names? Do they have dirty club names like Club Spank and Club like all this
I
kind
d
of stuff?
I forget that. I gotta check my history
That's
because
funny. Do they charge you
oh,
outside
I
of the
found it.
Final Fantasy like pay? Like are these
No,
private
so
okay.
I found the website, yeah.
Cuz
So, essentially,
remember when the Animal Crossing like turnip game got strong and people were like charging you to get turnip tips, but like it was all for like in-game Animal Crossing stuff. Like I need this, and this, and I'll let you on my
oh,
island so you can
yeah.
get like mass turnip like return. And I'm
So
like,
you have to see it like role playing in a way how this is. So, so like, people make legitimate, like, gil, which is like the
oh,
in-game
this is an
currency.
actual website.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back to the
I sent it to Eric. It's this
look
one.
at this.
Yeah. Dustin and I could not get off. We were up till 3 in the morning. Like, and even then we didn't want to go to bed.
That's
Like, you can
wild.
ask.
You basically were just like, did you feel like you were 20 again? Like just like,
I
yeah.
felt like it was just so fun because, like, I'm not
There's a
someone that
staff. Morpho
there's a
nightclub has a staff. Let's take a look here.
and this isn't
Okay.
even me making fun of him. I think it's great. I think this is such an amazing idea.
Oh, they even got the girl with the phone. How cute. Photographer. So like remember how I was talking about like the social media days, how like a club would
Yeah.
have a photographer for the
Yeah.
social media. This is that girl. Okay, Ro, you go. Okay, what else do we got here? Let's look at the VIPs. Oh, never mind. I want to see the Hall of Fame.
So
Okay.
Saturday tonight, it's open tonight. I'll go and I'll stream it, like, on Discord so you can see this because I really want you to
I'm laughing
experience
in my
this.
head right now because contrary, like, despite what you would believe, Hannah, this is how
Mhm.
people dress in clubs in LA. Like, this is
Oh,
real.
I bet.
This is like this dude. I could totally see these people at the club right here. This is like Coachella wear. I've seen this fool at Barnes and Noble. Like it's wild. So has anyone super famous like this? I'm assuming that's what this VIP is. What the hell is this? There's a they got bottle service in this virtual club. I can't right now.
So I have to tell you this story. It's so fun. So Dustin and I walk in and we go sit at the bar, and the bartender comes up to us, and it's like, "Do what did he call us? Lala lovers? Because we're little Lala fellas, and we were on a date together." And he's like, "So do the little Lala lovers want something to drink?" And so Dustin ordered me a drink, and so it's role play. They don't actually hand you the drink. It's all emoted out, but it was so fun. Like, we had like the best time. We
I'm
really
honestly
did.
like I'm glad like as much as I'm laughing at this whole scenario because it's just wild to me, but I'm not surprised because like I said, I saw the whole WoW thing happen, EverQuest, the Animal Crossing stock market, like I saw all of it, right? I've been through
Mhm.
some stuff. I've seen it all. This doesn't surprise me, but the fact that you are just having such a blast doing it, I'm like, okay, it's it's worth it to you. Like you're having the time of your life, and
I'm having fun because I'm not somebody that likes club life. One, on a scale of, like, I'm a lightweight, like, I've only been clubbing one time. That was enough for me. Like, I was like, okay, this feels like it's, and like, Dustin and I, we had a couple drinks. Like, we literally were like drinking, like, what were we drinking again? Those, like, blue Smirnoffs or whatever. We were
hypnotic.
just
So 2000s, we're drinking some
uh,
hypnotic, but
So we were just having it was just so much fun, and we couldn't get off. We were up till 3 in the morning. We could have stayed up longer, but we ended up going to bed probably like what, 3:30.
It's like real
It was
life.
so much fun. We're gonna go do it tonight. Like,
It's real life. It's real life when you get up at 3 or you get home and go to bed at 3:30 to get up at 6 to be at work at 7.
mhm.
That's a rough one, you
But
know.
this at least feels very like it's safe fun clubbing, and I was just so
The fact that they get like Twitch DJs and all that stuff to like blast me, it
yeah.
blows my mind.
I'm actually gonna show you. You don't have to show this, but I'll show you. So essentially, like when you walk into the club, like you don't hear music because
Right, you have to join the Discord chat and
you have to join like the Twitch stream to hear the music that's playing. Otherwise, if you don't have the Twitch music in there, you'll walk in, you'll just hear like the pitter patter of feet that are dancing, like with no
the
music.
crickets. What the hell club is this? But like I'm sorry, I can't stand like my opinion of Final Fantasy XIV is that the good stuff doesn't happen until 20 some odd hours in.
Yes, I had to push myself. It was very
It's
like I'm level
so
57 now. It's
and I don't
winded.
know if
Like
this is a traditional MMO thing because I'm not an MMO expert by any means,
Mhm.
but I don't know if this is like a common thing where they have you go through this stuff and do these menial tasks before you actually get to anything roughly exciting. And I'm just like, I in my head I was like, why am I paying to do this? Like,
I think the appeal for MMOs, and I think this is why I can't necessarily stop playing, MMOs like WoW or Final Fantasy. It's because it gives me pacing at the time that I would like it.
mhm,
It doesn't rob me of content because I choose not to be involved in a story.
right,
So if I'm playing WoW, for example, and I just want a game for the sake of gaming, but I don't have the mental capacity to sit and like go through a storyline, I don't have to do it. There's still a bunch of other things I could do. That's kind of the appeal to MMOs is like with WoW, I
right.
can log in. I'm max level on WoW. I've done a lot of things on WoW, but I could raid if I wanted to. I could PvP if I wanted to. I can role play if I want to. I can work on my crafting if I want to. I can take screenshots. Like I can try to collect mounts. Like it's I can pace my and I think that's why it's been so hard for me lately to play like a lot of single player, like casual, like even Breath of the
Like actual
Wild or like
story driven linear,
story
like
games because
this
I'm
is
so
where you go.
mentally drained at the end of the day at work. I just want to play something for the sake of playing it, but not have to like
You are a very much like
focus
get
in.
in, do stuff for an hour, and then leave. Like you're one of those,
Yeah,
and that's
as of
and
late.
I as much as I love you guys and I want to join in on this and experience the same thing, like I just like I can't do it. This is like to get to the point where you guys are, like I would have to invest 60 some odd hours, give or take, right?
I don't even you could totally do it. Listen. That's gonna be like for our little game show. I'll be like Eric levels just so he can get to the club.
Oh my
Like
god. It's a 7th month journey, part 86. Eric finally gets in and he's too old to get in. Get your 50-year-old ass out of here. Like, but then again in the game I could be 25.
That's true. Listen.
So it's on that note. So my lovely girlfriend, she went to her first. Well, this is her second, but this is like where she experienced it. Right? She experienced the punk rock show for the very first time. Like
Mm.
experience. We went to one before, but we were off to the side
I
at the
think it was that what she posted on her stories? I feel
yeah.
like I saw something. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first one we went to together, we were off to the side and just,
Mm.
hanging out, right? Like in the front enjoying
Mhm.
the show, but we were off to the side where there's not much action, right? This time
Mhm.
we went and saw the Bouncing Souls, which if you're from New Jersey, you probably know who the Bouncing Souls are. And it's just old school, straight like fun. It's not pop punk, but it's the lighter side of punk, right? Very
Mhm.
energetic, very crowd, chanting, whoa, anthem. They're like punk rock anthems, right? So
Excuse me.
Pal's like, I want front and center. And I'm like,
Go
oh,
Pow.
I was like, okay, front and center it is, right? Where in my head, knowing very well in my head, I know what happens front and center. So,
What happens front and center?
I'll get there. So,
Oh.
we're into it, right? First song. So if you've ever been to punk rock shows or just heavy, intense shows, most bands will start off with heavy hitters. to get the crowd up and going and riling and stuff. If the band is good, right, to get that energy going, they'll pit the heavy hitters and they'll open with these, right?
Right.
And
Get
then
that.
it kind of like they do some new stuff and so like slows the crowd down, gives them a chance to catch breath, and then they close out with the biggest hitters, right? Like the ones you
Mm,
pay to go see, like the songs you go to see live, right?
right.
Like it would be very dumb for My Chemical Romance to play Black Parade at the beginning of the show.
Right.
That is a closing song. But I'm Not Okay is an opener. Like it's a heavy
Oh
hitter and
yeah.
it's an opener,
Yeah.
right? So that's how you do it. That gets the crowd going and everyone's screaming at the top of their lungs. So Pal,
Right.
I've never seen my woman like this. She's like in beat, jumping up and down, da 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 da, and then it starts getting a little wild, right? People start shoving, and she's getting squished against the gate a little bit, and then the crowd surfers start. So like these big, and I'm always aware because I've been doing this for years. Like I'm aware. I
Yeah.
always keep aware of my surroundings because I can see a foot behind my head from a mile away, and I'm
Yeah.
like, here's someone coming, so I'll turn around and start like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
grabbing people and keeping them off. So like dudes start landing, right?
Oh my
On
gosh.
top of like Pow, but she's still into it. But then they start going into that towards the end of the set where they start doing heavy hitters to close the show out, right? And
Mhm.
this dude, I almost punched the shit out of somebody because this dude, so club etiquette for you, punk rock club etiquette. If you're going to stage dive, you're warn the crowd because the crowd can see you. You're on the stage. You're going to jump into the crowd from the stage. You warn the crowd saying like, hey, I'm going. That gives the crowd an opportunity to prepare to either catch you or get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's etiquette. Because, yes, I've been listening to aggressive music all my life, but I've never hurt anybody at a show.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want people to get hurt. We're just letting aggressions and stuff out. Like we don't want to hurt
Right.
anybody, right? So your etiquette
Right.
is you let people know you're coming. Same with crowd surfers. If you're a good crowd surfer, you let the people around you know, hey, I'm going up. That gives you the opportunity to pull somebody up and then let the people in front of you know, like, hey, this guy's going to go up. Get ready.
Mm-hmm.
No one gets hurt. Because if someone that's 200 pounds lands on you the wrong way and hurts your neck, it's a problem, right? That's why we don't want people to get hurt. We all want to have fun and have a good time, but we don't want anyone to get hurt. But anyway, this dickhead decides to jump on the stage and he doesn't warn anybody. He just jumps on the stage, runs, and dives. And he lands right on Pal.
Pow, no.
I don't know what happened because Pal didn't get hurt, but she was like into it. It's not that she didn't, like she just wasn't paying attention. She was into it. And
Yeah.
I don't know if she ducked or moved out of the way or something, but this guy like lands right in her vicinity. I take the guy and I grab him by the belt loops and I just pull. You know, like that scene in like Spider-Man or whichever Captain America, where he's holding the plane together.
Yeah.
That's what it was like, dude. That's what my arms looked like when I was just trying to yank this 200-pound guy off of her. And then I was about ready to sock the shit out of him because he didn't warn anybody. He just dove, but the security guard got to him first.
Oh, okay.
And the guy's trying to like use his feet against the railing to roll himself back onto the crowd so he could get back in the crowd. And I'm just pulling. I'm just yanking him. And then finally, with the security guards, the security was horrible at this venue. Sorry, guys. You guys were horrible. But finally, we get the guy off. And then he's like on the floor, like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? And I'm just like, get the fucking guy out of here. Because, like, you don't do that. You don't just stage dive and run into people.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Pal wasn't strong enough to hold, you try pressing a 200-pound guy over your head. It just doesn't happen very well unless you're built. You know, but like I just grabbed it. I've never like wanted to just sock somebody in my life, you know. And I'm not really I'm not a violent person at shows by any means. But I do become very aggressive when you're like not doing what's right for people.
When you mess with the woman that he loves,
you know,
he's gonna beat your ass.
and like Pal felt a little because she's like, I'm sorry, you know, like I feel bad because you're just watching out for everybody. Like you're like watching out for me. I'm like, I do that for everybody at every show. You know, because I've never wanted anybody to get hurt.
See, that's what I could never do. Like I give Pow so much credit for like
And
front
then
row. Like
when the heavy hitting
never
stuff
me.
when the heavy hitting
Yeah.
stuff really kicked in towards the end of the show, and the big song, like the Black Parade type of deal, right? I warned her. I said, watch your head, because people are going to start crowd surfing. And that's what happened.
Hmm.
People start crowd surfing. People crowd surf. They try to get to the mic and sing in the mic with every. It's a lot of camaraderie. It is an experience,
Oh, I bet.
and it's
I'm
like
sure Dustin's experienced
if you
it.
really love the band, it's the time of your life. You just have to be careful with
Mhm.
yourself. But like I grabbed this guy and I just pulled. I've never pulled on something like that hard in my life, you know? Like I just
Yeah.
yanked
Damn.
because I thought this dude literally crushed her. And I was about ready to sock the shit out of him until the security got him out of there.
Damn.
And then he was
I'm
running
glad
around.
you're okay, pal.
And then he was running. She had the time of her life. She woke up the next day and she's like, I'm sore. And I said, she was like, I'm sore. And I'm like, yep. If you're listening to me right, I just nodded. I'm like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now you imagine that's her. Now me, like, I started feeling it at about 30. Like once my 20s passed and I started going and I'm like 30 and I'm starting to feel the aftermath of painful shows. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is getting rough. Now I'm more of an off to the side type person, and I listen and I enjoy it. Unless it's my favorite bands. I'll stand front and center for the Souls. That's one of my favorite bands of all time. But
Oh yeah.
that's why we went. I
Oh,
actually got Pal
see,
into them.
I can never. I won't say that I can never. I crowds me. Too much. Too much.
You're gonna do My Chemical Romance? There's gonna be a US tour.
If I do My Chemical Romance, it wouldn't be like in a pit
Your
or like
nose
I would
bleeding
be.
it.
I'm nosebleeding
I'm
it, or
safe
I'm
up
like
here.
sitting. Yeah, I'm gonna sit up here and have my chicken wings. Like, like
You know how like when people don't like the band, they start throwing like the cups of water and the cups of beer on stage and stuff. You just see chicken wing like
I could
chicken
never throw chicken wings at My Chemical
chicken wing
Romance.
boats
Listen.
just flying at Gerard Way. That's funny. I would die laughing. I'm like, hey, look, there's Hannah. And the celery, Hannah's like, fuck celery. Just starts throwing it at the crowd. But
With
no,
the little container of like blue cheese, just
yeah. But it's like fun. It was a time of life. I got the thrill because she got that thrill of it, and I kind of got the thrill again when I was like,
yeah.
first coming up in the whole thing, and I experienced it for the first time. It brought back some memories.
It's interesting you bring that up because I like this isn't like shows or whatever, but like I haven't gone to like a convention
I miss them.
since PAX East in when was that 2009?
19,
I think it was 2019.
maybe 20. I think it was 19.
No, it was 2019, right? PAX
Yeah.
when we went. Yeah, and so that was the last convention I went to. I don't have much of a desire to go to them anymore. Okay, I've gone to conventions and I've seen what I need to see. But my sister, she's like, I really want to go to like Florida
Aw.
SuperCon this year. And she's like, will you take me or like, can we go? And oh, I'm like, that's right. Like she's never experienced her
Is
first like anime.
what is it called? SuperCon?
Florida SuperCon, yeah.
Is it like gaming or is it comic books and pop culture? Like
It's like comic books,
pop culture, pop
anime.
vinyls, and TV
Yeah.
shows. Yeah, that's fun. That's good. So did you go?
No, well, it's in July. I don't know if we'll go.
Do
She
it.
wants to meet Nolan North because she just finished Uncharted 4. And
I want to meet
she
Nolan
wants to.
North.
I met Nolan North. I love Nolan North.
Were you swoon? Were you dreamy?
I've. It was interesting when I met Nolan
Is
North.
he the
it's
good looking one, or is it the one that does? Oh, what's it called? The Last of Us. Who's the one that does The Last of Us?
Troy Baker does.
Is
Last
Troy
of
Baker
Us.
the good looking one, or is it Nolan North? I forget.
I think no. Nolan North's an older man, but I'm like that's a beautiful man. Like I don't know what it is. Like I've always thought Nolan North was very attractive. Like, sorry, Dustin, but he knows. He already knew. Like, there's a clip of him like on his stream making fun of me because I had the huge thing for Nolan North.
But other than that, yeah, first club experience, like first punk, first punk rock show experience. Like, yeah, she dug it.
Awesome. I'm glad you're okay though, pal.
Yeah, she didn't get hurt. Just some aches and pains and sores, but yeah, it happens. Good times.
Good aches and pains.
We finished the revival of Opal and Neff. So we finished that book.
Oh, I remember that was the last episode we
Yeah,
talked
last
about
book I was reading, phenomenal book, very well written. I loved the whole VH1 behind the music storytelling type of deal. It was great,
that. Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Highly recommend if you haven't yet. We've started another book. We are reading the Dave Grohl biography, The Storyteller, which just came out back in October. Dave Grohl is a fantastic storyteller. I love hearing, like, it's not your traditional biography where it's like, we did this and then this and this. He tells it in like this story, like he tells the story, like campfire type like storytelling, but it's all real life accounts of his journey. And it's pretty interesting right now because I might get the point in the story where he met Kurt Cobain and he signed to Nirvana, or he signed up with Nirvana, and you know, like Nirvana's about to hit it big. He actually talks about how they played Smells Like Teen Spirit like in the club for the first time.
Oh yeah,
and it's a very wild story. Like it's very like it's interesting. He's talking about how there was a riot at one of the like his first shows with Nirvana or so. Like it's crazy. But a great book. I'm only a quarter of the way in or something like that, but it's a great book. Game wise, we put down Elden Ring.
Got tired of it.
I fucking Margit, or however they say it or whatever. Just tweet Margit or look up Margit on Twitter or whatever. You'll know what people are talking about. I think it's Margit or something like that. So of course I'm stuck at the first boss and I can't get past it, but I keep going like an idiot. And then
the first boss?
That's the first boss.
Oh yeah, I see a lot of people talking about it.
It's all uphill from there. So it's a rough one, and I'm like, but like I'm intrigued still, like I'm trying, but it's one of those ones where I'm giving it a break. I'm pacing myself with it. I'm like, I'll come back, I'll try again. Game's not going anywhere. But we switched over to the Zelda Skyward Sword remaster, and if you don't know, Skyward Sword was the one on the Wii, where you use the Wiimote
as the sword.
Right. Well, they added Joy-Con like button controls and stuff to this version for the Switch.
Okay.
I hate this goddamn game, and really? I love
Have
Zelda.
You always hate?
I never played Skyward Sword.
You've never played it.
I never played Skyward Sword because the idea of swinging a Wii. I saw my roommate back in the day in 2005, 2006, whenever this come up with the Wiimote, and it was weird. He was like, and then he was like, and I'm like, dude.
If you're standing behind him, you have no idea what.
Yeah, if you don't know, if you're listening to this right now, I just did the sexual gratification gesture that you would do with a Wiimote, and I'm like, are you churning butter? That's what I was like. He's like, no, I'm fighting this bot. I'm like, but I hate this game. I can't imagine playing this game with the Wiimote. It's so frustrating.
That's interesting. And you're a Zelda fan, so yeah. I
was like, this is at the bottom of the list. I was like, once I'm done with it, it's at that point, it's like, where I'm done with this game, I'm not touching it again.
Is that like the common like opinion on that game?
It's very unliked. I will say that. It's very unliked. And now a majority of the Wii controls were a big factor in like people's dislike for it. But just it's very linear. It's one of the more linear ones, but it's also very cut back. There's only like, if you're not a Zelda person, Zelda's built on dungeons. You go to this dungeon, that dungeon. There's 7 to 8, upwards of 9 of them. And they keep going. But this one, it's like 4 basic worlds, and then the dungeons are built around that world and like inside, outside. I also think the game's too long because I've gone to this area. I've done the stuff I need to do to progress the story. But then the story sends you back to that world and you do it again. And then you go and you're like, oh, I hope I don't have to come back here. And then it sends you back again. You got to find this now. And I'm just like, okay.
You're like, this is dumb. I'm done.
It's to the point where I'm like, I'm using the guide now. Like I'm using the guide just to get through it. Not that I can't figure it out, but it's like, I just want to get through this.
It's like, you just don't want to waste any more time.
I'm trekking it. Yeah. I'm trekking it. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm almost done, a couple hours to go. And I'm just like, I'm just trekking at this point. But other than that, Skyward Sword, I haven't finished Forbidden West yet. We're going to finish Forbidden West when we can, but
I grabbed her because I have Horizon Zero Dawn, but
are you jumping in on it now?
Well, I left it at my parents, and so last time I was at my parents, I grabbed it, so I have it, and it's in the living room, but I haven't started it. It's the Final Fantasy XIV clubbing. It just distracts me.
I can't go play games. The club wants me there.
The club's open. The club just opened. Everybody.
But what was I going to say? We are working on. Oh no, I'm not working on anything. I just said what I'm working on. But Pal got a PC.
I saw that. It's so
Pal
cute
has
too. It's
Pal
so
has
pretty.
Pal has joined the elite. So we had a very generous coworker of mine donate a motherboard and a graphics card and stuff because it was just sitting in his closet. And I politely asked, I was like, hey, are you going to just recycle that?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's just sitting in the closet. I wasn't going to do anything with it. And I'm like, well, if you want to part with it, you know, my girlfriend's looking to do a starter build. It's nothing like extravagant. It's an older i7 and it's a 980, like it's a GeForce 980 Ti.
Mhm.
So it's 6-7 years old by this point, right? But it's more than enough for the stuff Pal plays, you know, like Overcooked and moving
But
out.
she can also, like Dustin just said in chat, she can join us at the club
She can join you at the
on
club.
Final
I
Fantasy.
don't know if she's gonna pay $14.99 for that, but
I'll pay her first month. Get her in the club. I'll pay your first month.
I'll
Listen,
we'll
inflation
get
got
cards.
nothing on Club Life.
We'll get cards. We'll get cards for everybody. We might need to do this for content for another show.
What, the Club Life?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be a skit. We'll talk about that later. But what's it called? So she's doing Life is Strange, like the original
Oh, the original with
Life
hot
is Strange,
teachers.
right? And she's like, the first thing she says when she boots this up, it's the part where like the tornado's happening and you have to get out of the tornado. And the first thing she texts me, she's like, this bitch is going through it. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of messed up, right? And then, you know, she disappears for about an hour and she keeps playing. And then she's like, the teacher's hot.
Yep. That's always like, the teacher's hot.
Yeah. And then she starts talking about how she's annoyed with everybody in the school. Like she just starts hating her classmates. And I'm like, yeah, you're getting that vibe. You're getting the vibes the game's supposed to give you. You know,
The only person that does not deserve hate in that game is Kate. I love Kate. Kate is like, do you remember Kate?
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Pow said, I don't answer the phone and this bitch jumps. That's what she told me. Like she told me. She's like, that escalated quickly. And
Oh, so she got that. Wait, did she jump in her playthrough?
yeah.
Oh,
Spoiler
I'm
alert.
sorry. Oh,
Spoiler alert. Yeah, she jumped.
she jumped in mine too, and then I was so upset. I went back. I said,
I was like, well, that happened. Like when I played, I was
wouldn't
like,
let that happen because I love Kate because I felt like I could relate to Kate. So I was like, no, like.
And then we did a little, you know, like Steam shopping or whatever because there was a bunch of sales going on. And then we got she got the BioShock collection because BioShock's one of my favorite games of all time.
What's that one that I've only played one BioShock? Which one was it?
Is it the most recent or the Infinite or whatever, the one where it's all patriotic?
The one with Elizabeth and
yeah, that's the Sky one. That's the most recent one. If you haven't yet, you can go to Epic Games and get the collection for free on your PC.
BioShock Infinite. Yeah, that's the one I
go on after the show, go on the Epic Games Store and you can get it for free for your PC.
But something I will say though, like I really liked BioShock Infinite, but it was very stressful for me.
Mm-hmm. It's a
like
stressful
there's
game.
so I don't think I'll play the other two. Because there's just there hasn't been anything about BioShock in particular, like as far as the aesthetic or like how it looks that makes me want to play it. BioShock Infinite was one of the first ones that yeah.
The horror, the spooky horror, Pal's words, the spooky underwater environment doesn't freak you out? Like it doesn't intrigue you?
It doesn't intrigue me. Like, I don't know. I've just been like, but Infinite looked fascinating to me. So I got it and I really fell in love with Infinite.
Elizabeth?
But
Was it Elizabeth?
Yeah, it was very stressful though. Like I was genuinely like this game. Like I remember I was playing on my PlayStation 4, like going through like some of the boss battles and everything. I'm like, I hate
that was a hard
but
one.
I finished it.
It was a hard one until you figure out the trick. To finish the game until you figure out the trick.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Wait, how did you go back? I think I just loaded up a save for
Life is Strange. Oh, see,
yeah.
Hannah cheated.
I cheated.
She couldn't live with her decision, so she went back in time.
Like,
she DeLorean did and went back in time and fixed her. Now Biff owns the casino and ruined Hill Valley. I hope you've seen Back to the Future.
I haven't. I have never seen Back to the Future. I know. Listen, everyone's like, you've never seen Back to the Future.
What?
You've never seen Ghostbusters. You've never seen
Okay, so before we wind down and finish up with the court trial stuff, we did not go last night. We were gonna, but Pal watched the first Top Gun.
I've never seen Top Gun.
That's okay because most people your age range has not seen Top Gun. Back to the Future kind of intrigues me because Back to the Future is like the pop culture icon right now for 80s.
Right.
So that's a little weird to me. But Top Gun, I can understand why you haven't seen it. But Pal watched Top Gun and she kept quiet. And I was telling her about when Carla watched Top Gun. Like Carla watched Top Gun, and I won't spoil Top Gun right now because this will actually affect anyone that goes to see Top Gun in the new one. So I won't spoil it. But Pal was quiet all the way up until this point in the movie, and then Pal's mood just changes. And I was just like, okay. So one of the chat said, my favorite thing is Eric looking at the camera like Jim from The Office. Oh, I remember why Carla watched Top Gun. I remember why. Because if back in the old Meg stream days, I used to post this GIF in the chat. And there's a GIF, like, I'll say it here because I don't care. We've cussed up a storm this whole episode, right? There's no way, and even if out of respect, I would never monetize this episode on purpose. But like, there's this GIF where Tom Cruise is on a motorcycle and he like raises his fist as the fighter jet flies by. That's a very common GIF. But someone edited the GIF and he's like on the motorcycle, like blazing, fist in the air, or whatever, and a dildo flies through the air. And I used to send this GIF in the chat all the time. This is when Meg's stuff was a little more lenient and it was a little more Wild West, right? I used to post this GIF all over that thing. And I was just like, and it used to go in the Discord and everything. And then Carla's like, I'm going to go watch this stupid movie. And then she ended up liking it too. Top Gun's badass.
Hold on, I'm looking up the GIF now.
Oh, I don't know if I... Oh, she saw it, guys. Should I make that the episode thumbnail? Dustin just cough up his food?
Yeah.
No, Top Gun's actually a very well done movie. And I was explaining to Pal, I'm like, they don't make movies like this anymore. We just keep kind of regurgitating sequels and stuff like that. And I mean, granted, there's a Top Gun sequel, but it's done decades later. Yeah. But like we just keep regurgitating sequels after sequel every year. Whereas like Top Gun, it was like an original idea and it was an original concept. And like now by today's standards, it would sound really cheesy, but when you watch it, it's actually a good movie. Another one that Pal's absolutely in love with, and I didn't think this actually, but Pal actually really loves Pretty Woman.
I love Pretty Woman.
Yeah, she's like, she got into Pretty Woman. She was all about it. And I was like...
Richard Gere?
Oh, you and Pal need to talk because she goes on about Richard Gere too. She said he looked like the guy in... what was that TV show with the hospital? Grey's Anatomy. She said he looks like the guy in Grey's Anatomy. So...
Yeah, that's right. Pal and I can go talk at the club. Dustin just wrote in chat.
You're going to go talk
at the club at Final Fantasy.
That Meg emote is cute.
That is cute.
I wonder if I have that now. But yeah, so like it's been wild. So like we'll probably go see Top Gun maybe Monday or something. I don't know because it's the holiday. Happy Memorial Day to you if you're listening to this on your day off. Oh, The Nanny. I'm sorry, The Nanny. He looks like the guy from The Nanny, not Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been Pal's getting acquainted with all this stuff I grew up on, and because mom watched Pretty Woman all the time.
My mom did too.
Yeah.
That's how I fell in love with Pretty
And it's
Woman.
an interesting fact. Do you know have you watched like 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink? Have you ever seen those?
No.
How about Breakfast Club? Did you ever watch Breakfast Club?
Yes, I've seen
Okay, you know Molly Ringwald, the short-haired redhead?
Yeah, with the red hair. Yeah.
So she was the it girl at the time. Like she would be like the Emma Stone of now, like she was the it girl. And she was actually up for the role in Pretty Woman. And then she didn't do it for like some commitment, or she turned down the role or something. They wanted Molly Ringwald for Pretty Woman. And then they got Julia Roberts to do it. And that's shot Julia Roberts' career through the roof. So it
I
should have
thought
been.
Julia Roberts did an amazing
Yeah,
job. I can't picture anyone else.
yeah, it's weird, right? You look at it and you're like, wow, Molly Ringwald, maybe it would work. But yeah, Molly Ringwald was the it girl at the time. We can do movie nights. We probably could do some movie nights in the Discord. We'll get to that in a minute here, but let's close out here with this wild ass Amber Heard trial. Did you catch up?
I caught up as best I could.
Same here. I don't have every single detail, but like, okay, so now that we've heard her side, what do you think happened? Do you side with him or do you side with her?
I side with Johnny.
You think
I side with Johnny.
you think Johnny's
do.
the innocent one?
I do. I really do. Like, it just, from everything that I've seen, like even in the closing arguments that I heard Camille Vasquez made, that
That's his lawyer, right?
that's his lawyer,
Yeah.
yes. She makes the point, like towards the end, she's like, you can either believe Amber Heard and her sister, because Whitney was the only one that like would, that came.
Yeah.
It was not a hired testimony,
Right.
or paid. And then she lists off everyone. Or you can believe Johnny Depp's best friend, Morgan Tremaine, who was like the TMZ guy, one of the doctors, Dr. Shannon Curry. Like, she lists like everyone, and a majority of them aren't hired like they weren't on his payroll.
Right.
So all these people are lying, all the police officers are lying, all the medical professionals are lying, all the,
That's where I've gathered, because most of my viewing and catching up was her testimony, because that was the one I was most interested in. I heard his, and I was like, okay, I see the role they were trying. We talked about this in the last episode. I see the route they're trying to go. He's a drug abuser, and when he's on drugs, he's insane. Like, that's the route they were playing, right? Then I listened to her testimony, and I said this in the last episode where I was like, it's not that I don't believe you, but you need to give me reasons to believe you. And I say this a lot, and I believe this. If something happened that was so traumatic that she claims happened, and this is for anybody that experiences any kind of domestic abuse, sexual abuse, anything like that, these people that experience this stuff, the memory never escapes them. It never goes away. And they remember the details. They remember the things they were wearing. They remember what they were doing, what happened, what triggered it. Like, they know and they remember these things, assuming that they were coherent when it happened. Obviously, there's things like pills and stuff that happen where you don't know what happened. But like in the instances where and you're aware of what's happening and it happens, you remember all these details. It's a traumatic life event. You remember them. Her story just doesn't reflect that. We were in a bedroom and then he grabbed me, and then, trigger alert. Sorry, before we get started, the trigger warnings here of, instances of domestic abuse, etc. Trigger warning, feel free to skip or pause or mute or whatever. If you're sensitive to this. But like she says, like, he did this, he hit me, he grabbed me, he punched me in the face repeatedly. He sexually violated me with a wine bottle. So this is one of the things that got me. They have pictures of the wine bottle and the bloody floor. She said she was bleeding severely, right? And they said, Ms. Heard, can you tell us which of these photos is the one you took and when you took it? And her answer to that, now, any person that truly experienced this and was coherent when it happened would be like, that's the photo I took. Would you agree?
I mean, I don't know, because I've never been through something like, and I'm gonna say, I don't believe Amber,
Right.
like, just based off everything that I've been hearing and whatnot. But I can't say that I would know if I were to ever to go through some type of traumatic event. I don't know if I would remember detail. You know what I mean?
Fair
Like,
enough. Fair enough. You would at least, I would think you would at least remember the general basic details.
Yeah, I feel like I could remember general basic details, but it's hard to say because you never know.
Right.
Because sometimes memories are suppressed.
That's why I say I feel and I believe that people remember these things when they're coherent. That's why I say I believe. The key word is that's my belief that that's what happened. I could be wrong, and I will fully understand you if I am wrong.
Right.
But that's what I would believe to believe. Like, if it was something like that, I would think, these are the photos. Which ones would you take? Which one did you take? I would think she'd be like, I took the one on the left. Like, that's the photo I took.
Or even like the one thing that was really kind
Well, the
of
thing that gets me,
this.
her answer to the photo thing is like, I don't recall which one it is. You'll have to go look at the metadata, but you guys scrape the metadata, so I can't tell you.
But also too, they had somebody look like the two pictures of her, like she had like a bruise like in
Mm-hmm.
one part of her face. Um, the metadata proved that the saturation was edited,
Yeah,
like the color was enhanced
to give
in
like
one
a
photo.
bruise effect, right, or
So
something like
yeah, to
that.
make that redness kind of come out a little bit more. And so, and for her to say like, oh well, it was just a matter of lighting, but how could that be when these pictures were taken at the exact same time, on the exact same day, the exact same minute?
Right, and
Like there's just, and they're in the exact same place. The
because
only thing she did was she enhanced the color and she cropped it. She cropped the photo a little bit
the thing that I keep going back to is the story. I keep listening to the story about how he punched her repeatedly in the face
with rings, and he had
with
rings on his.
rings. Now he grabbed, like she's saying he grabbed, that would explain the arm bruise,
Mhm.
but she says he punched her repeatedly in the face and he was wearing rings. I think her words were like, I recall him to always wear rings. That doesn't
Yeah.
answer the question specifically, like, yeah, he was
Mhm.
wearing rings.
Mhm.
Because I feel like, again, my belief, you would remember that you would remember getting punched in the face repeatedly with someone wearing rings. Like you would remember that, because the severe
Mhm.
amount of damage that hard metal rings do on a full on punch is pretty drastic.
Her face would have been very, very torn up.
That's what bothers me about her scenario there.
Yeah.
She's saying he grabbed her, punched her repeatedly wearing rings, and in the photos with the bruise, the arm bruise, the grab bruise, she doesn't have any damage to her face that would indicate she was punched
Mhm.
repeatedly with rings.
The one testimony that was pretty like eye opening was the guy from TMZ,
I did
Morgan
not get to
Tremaine.
see him. I saw the whole thing where we'll laugh about this one, where she's like, do you think you're taking this for your 15 minutes of fame? And he's like, oh, just like
Yeah.
how you took the case. And I just like,
Yeah.
whoa.
I was like, "Oh, dang."
The
I
crowd in
laughed.
the
I'm
back's
not
like,
gonna.
oh,
Oh, like
like the
what was
meme.
interesting, essentially what he was saying was he worked for TMZ, and they got like the video, the video that was going around of Johnny Depp like slamming cabinets. He was just assaulting the cabinets. He wasn't
Right,
assaulting Amber Heard. He was just mad. I think that was around the time like he found out his mom passed away or something like that.
right.
And that photo was sent to TMZ. And so Camille was able, they did this very well where because we're on Twitch, you understand copyright.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have ownership of an image
Right,
unless the person's given you the ownership of the image, or you are the person yourself that is taking the photo.
right.
So Depp's lawyers had asked, like, when it comes in cases of copyright, how long does it take usually for TMC to obtain the rights and then post? And he says it can be any time between like 15 minutes to like 2 days, depending on like clearance and
Legal
whatnot.
clearance and
Yeah.
yeah,
And she's like, well, how long does it take if you if you got the video from the direct source? And he says, "In 15 minutes. We can have it up
right.
in 15
You
minutes."
email the
And
form, the release,
yeah.
and if you've never done this before, I'll kind of
Mhm.
explain what they're saying. So, like, let's say you take a bunch of photos and you go to
Mhm.
like a kiosk at Walmart or whatever to have them print them.
Mhm.
They ask you, "Are these your photos?" Or
Mhm.
if they look too professional, they'll ask you to. Do you have a release? So anytime I've ever had done pictures for somebody, I've always given them a release on a PDF, saying
Okay.
like, hey, these, I'm the photographer, these belong to the individual, they have the right to
Mhm.
print these for whatever purposes they see fit, right?
Right.
So that's what they're talking about. So like Amber owns this photo, she sends it over to TMZ, theoretically sends it over
Mhm.
to TMZ, and then along with it, I'm gonna guess assumed is a PDF from her lawyer or whatever with a signature,
Mhm.
and it's emailed off, and they get it, secure
You're
channel.
right. So without them basically asking, did Amber Heard send you these photos? The lawyer, she essentially asks, how long until you received these images, like, or this video,
Right.
did you post them? And he said 15 minutes, which essentially says that they got them from the source.
Yeah, and they
So it
legally
was,
had them from the source.
yeah. Um,
And then the other one that baffles me too is I don't know if you caught it, where she was doing the testimony and they said, you leak these photos, or you leak these photos, you leak this story. And she's like, I don't know how to leak anything. Like, I wouldn't know how to
yeah.
leak anything. And then they catch her in another
And
question, and she's
and
like,
she's like, if I would have could do
I
it, I
could have
could do
done
it a
it way
lot
more
better than that.
efficiently. I could have done a lot better and leaked it
Yeah.
way better. But then Camille, who I'm going to take a second right now and just say, Camille is a fantastic lawyer.
Yeah.
The mind manipulation that the Amber's lawyer tried to do on the psychologist is what
Mhm.
Camille achieved with Amber Heard.
Mhm.
That mind, that careful wording of questions,
Mhm.
and just the way she approaches things, and the stress, the stress she puts on the witness shows
Mhm.
that she's a fantastic lawyer, because she moves at a pace that
Mhm.
doesn't give Amber time to deflect.
Come up. Right. The one that honestly irritated me more than anything was the dumb pledged and donate.
Hmm.
Like, you pledged, or like so
Right.
you did not donate $3.5 million to the ACLU. And she's like, she would look to the jury and be like, I pledged. Like, and it's like, answer the question. You
Right.
clearly didn't.
Which is what she was
Like,
trying to do. She's trying to
eh,
deflect the question. And
yeah.
then Camille works at this pace to where the only way you can answer is with the correct answer. Like,
Yeah.
yes, no, I did not do that. I did do this. So, but going back to the thing with Amber's sister, where the
Mhm.
sister says, "Oh, Johnny was crazy, and we hid in the bedroom and all that kind of stuff. He was gonna hit her, and da 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 da." Where they have Amber's sister on a different testimony. I think it was the UK case where Amber's sister said she pulled Amber off of Johnny.
Oh,
Because
I didn't know that part.
if I remember hearing that correctly, like I said, I watched a lot of footage in the past 2 days.
Mhm.
I believe it was what she said in the UK deposition is she
Mhm.
pulled Amber off of Johnny because she was going to hit Johnny.
I Now, did you see the one where Jennifer Howell testified? She's Whitney's like former best friend.
I don't think I saw hers.
So essentially, Jennifer runs like this organization. Whitney was worked for this
Hmm.
organization. Um and Whitney would go back and tell Jennifer all the time, like, oh my God, like she's gonna kill him, like, oh my God, Amber's done it. She's cut off his finger, like,
The finger
you
thing,
know,
yeah,
right. And Whitney is always has told Jennifer in the past that she's scared of Amber, that she's been abused by Amber, like by her own sister,
right.
her own sister.
She has
And
a record of
so
it. The ex
so
wife or
then
girlfriend made the claim
s-
too.
so then Jennifer Howell testified, and she was on it was like a pre-recorded video. But it was I just like I want to see like what happens. I think no matter what happens at the end of the day, like it's clear, what happened, but I just hope that the law, you know,
And the
the
jury
jury
sees
does.
it. And going back to the pledge thing, like it's stupid, like the way we kept harking on it. But what it
Yeah.
does is, what people probably ask, what does this have to do with abuse? It's an establishment of character.
Mhm.
Now, the thing like it's not baffling, but the thing that really kind of hits me with that is, they said again, she kept deflecting, like, I pledged to do it. Pledge basically
Mhm.
meaning she said, I made the promise to do it,
Mhm.
but she never actually paid. But her answer is, I pledged to do it, but then I got sued by Johnny. But then
Right.
Camille, who did her amazing homework, was like, you had the money in your account for 13 months. I think it was 12 or 13
Yeah.
months. More than
And
enough time to be.
And there's a clip of Amber Heard on a show, and they're like, "What did you do with the money?" And she's like, "I donated 3 point half of it to the Children's Hospital of LA and the other half to the
Mhm. She
ACLU,"
said she
saying,
did it.
"I donated,
Right.
like I gave it." And so everyone's like applauding, and they're like, "Wow, like so amazing." And it's
And then there's the thing where she's like with Elon, and Elon made like $500,000 donations in her name or something like that at
yeah,
some point. It's like, why?
that's not her.
That's
Like
not her.
that's
Like, it's
Elon.
Elon's money, and it's just interesting, but it's an establishment of character.
Mhm.
It's, if she's lying about that, what lengths is she going to go to lie about other things? Her stories don't add up. That's the problem with this whole case. The
Mhm.
stories don't add up. And she keeps deflecting it. And she, like, Amber's trying to do this manipulation where she's like looking at the jury like, I pledged to do it. like that doesn't work. Like you're already caught in the lie. As soon as they said she had the money in her account for, nearly a year,
Mhm.
that's when I was like, that's not going to pass with the jury. She had the money. She
Yeah.
was paid. It's
Yeah.
in her account. Everything that goes to lawyers, et cetera, for that instance was already done because they take it
Mhm.
out. And I think even
Yeah.
if it's a severely large amount like that too, they take it out for taxes too. Like when you gamble and you win a
Mhm.
large winning, they take it out. They take out the taxes right then before you pay, or they pay you.
Right.
So she had the money. It was hers, clean, free and clear, and she didn't
Mhm.
do anything. That's a big indicator. It was like she's trying to make herself look like this, or she's trying to make it look at
Mhm.
this like this beacon of, humanity or whatever and support for women and blah 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 when it's all a goddamn lie and she's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Now, you side with Johnny and you think he's innocent, right?
I I think he's innocent. Do I believe that it's a toxic
Oh,
relationship?
for sure.
I think it was. I personally believe that he did not like hit her. That I believe that. I believe that he might have said some unkind things, or and there's proof of that. Like he sent her text
Oh
messages,
yeah,
he's
they
called
have it.
her.
They have all that.
Yeah, they have it, but like but as I kind of gone through it, and even with Kate Moss testifying, and like all of Johnny's, not all of them, but a good majority of Johnny's ex girlfriends have come out and they say that he has never been abusive, or
With the exception of what's her name? I think it was
was it
Ellen Barkin. Ellen
is she
Barkin.
the only one that hasn't come out with anything like at
Well,
the
she
moment? But I
came
know.
out. No, she did a testimony where she said he was like abusive and stuff like that, and he was
Oh, she
toxic.
did. I didn't know
If
that
I
one.
remember right, yeah, that's what she said. But do I think they're both innocent? No, I think something happened. Now, this could be a complete variable as to, did he
Mm-hmm.
hit her, but was it in self defense? Like if she's swinging and,
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to defend himself and he knocks her,
Yeah.
not direct, like deliberately tries to hit her, but like,
Mm-hmm.
in trying to stop her, he
Right.
makes contact or something like it. I believe something happened.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea of like he grabbed her and punched her in the face repeatedly. That's the one thing where we miss this whole point. Is like, if your face is beaten to the point where, because rings will break bones, she will
Oh
break a
yeah.
nose, she will break
Have
an
you
eye
seen the rings
socket.
that he wears
Yeah,
like during the they're like these thick
right.
metal, they're like all across all
It's like
every
getting
single
punched with your
finger.
wedding ring on. Your wedding ring is
Yeah.
beefy,
I
so
know he
like,
did a good job.
yeah, but like, like it's beefy. If you make contact with that, it's gonna scrape, it's gonna cut, it's gonna do
Right. It's
damage. But
gonna
like
cut. Like
the rings he wears, these solid like brass, metal
Mhm.
rings, like they would break a nose, they would break an eye socket, like they would
Mhm.
do damage. They would break a jaw, they would break teeth
Mhm.
at the velocity that she's claiming he hit her.
Mhm.
So to go and then the doctor saying like there's no physical damage to her face, none of this that would indicate she was punched repeatedly with
Mhm.
this stuff, like punched with these things on his fingers. And then she's straight up saying, well, that medical examination is wrong. Are you telling me that your
Yeah.
medical professional under legal law that has to tell the
Mhm.
truth and disclose that his records?
And
Why
he
would
could lose his license if he
right?
lies.
Any logical doctor or any reasonable doctor. Pal's
Yeah.
going through the fieldwork stuff right now, right, with occupational
Mhm.
therapy, and she gets worried because they're sending her on her own and stuff like that. She's
Mhm.
supervised, but they're
Yeah.
having her do basic work with patients and all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
I go, any responsible facility is not going to put themselves at a legal risk. You are okay.
Mhm.
They're not going to do anything that's going to potentially get them sued or anything along those lines.
Mhm. Also,
Same with
too,
this
this
doctor. Like this doctor's not going to lie.
yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No, on a side note, like my job, I record everything. If a
Yep.
child if a child trips, for example,
Hmm.
even if it's at fault to nobody, if he's running, bam, fault, it happens. Kids fall.
Well, of course, they're
I have to
children.
sit there, I have to assess what happened, write everything down. Incident happened at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Parents were notified at 2:30. Swelling on the right knee, some blood was a first aid was administered. I have
Right.
to document everything.
What do you mean
On
by
a school
record it? Like,
side,
what do you record?
like I record essentially what happened.
Is
So,
it just like, do you have to sit in front of a camera with like
no, no,
administration?
no, like
Oh, okay.
record, I mean, like record, like
Oh,
write
I
down
see. You
everything. So
document.
I have records, and I keep
Yeah.
the records in the child's file. That way, if, and the parents will know. I'll call, be like, "Hey, Johnny fell. Just want to let you know." But let's say 2 days from now, the cut gets infected
Hmm.
and he's in the hospital. Then I have to take that and be like, "This is what happened. This is the incident. This is where he fell. The time, mom was
The
notified.
care I
I administered
administered.
first aid." And so you give that over, and then from there it goes from there. But if I were to be reckless and to not include that, I
Oh
could
yeah.
lose my job as a
It's your job
teacher.
and your license. Like
Like,
your license, so you'll never work with children again. Like you wouldn't risk it.
I
It's
know,
just,
because
and then
someone
when
will be,
I'm assuming if it goes to like a facility nurse, the nurse does her own due diligence and does all the records for
Mhm,
herself. Like
right,
there's paper trails. Solid. No doctor's just gonna leave that information out. Oh yeah, she got punched in the. I forgot to mention she got punched in the face repeatedly
right.
with
No
rings
doctor is gonna go through all the medical years of medical schooling, go through all the training to then be like, let me just like lie,
to protect
for
the
this
actress
court
of
case.
Aquaman 2.
Man, too.
Yeah, like it's not gonna happen. But like,
And the one thing where the Warner Brothers came out and they said she didn't lose
mhm.
time in Aquaman 2 because of what happened with Johnny Depp. She lost it because she had no chemistry with Jason Momoa.
I
And
didn't
so,
even
like,
see
there you go. And
his. I want to see his
oh, you didn't?
testimony.
No, he said that he's like one of the reasons it was cut back, and they were talking about either recasting or getting rid of Amber Heard was because there was no chemistry between her and Jason Momoa. And I've looked up clips. There is no chemistry between them. Like, it's just like,
I don't know.
ugh.
I don't know. I've never seen any of her movies. I don't think I've seen her in anything.
I never even saw Aquaman, so I've
I
never
don't
seen
even
her
know
in
who she
anything.
was until she was like married to Johnny Depp. And I'm
Yeah.
like, who the hell? You know what? Amber Heard.
She met him on a movie called, like, The Rum Diary,
Rum
which
Diaries
came out
was
in,
a
like,
decent movie. That was an okay movie.
okay, so you've seen her. She played his love interest in
Oh,
the movie.
okay. Then it's been years. Oh, she's been
Yeah.
in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, but
What the
she's not
hell?
like, she wants to create it as if she's like A-list, like,
She thinks she's Emma
Marvel
Stone, right? Like
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
they're knocking at her door, you know. Let's see, what do we got here? Rum Dice, so Aquaman one. Zombieland, I don't know what she was in Zombieland. Pineapple Express, okay.
I
I've
think
seen
she was
some of
in
these.
Magic Mike.
She was in the Justice League? What the hell was she doing in the Justice League? But okay.
She played Mara. Yeah, she played Mara.
Obviously I'm not up to date on my Amber Heard
Mm.
you know, but like you could see where she got the key roles that she did and then it kind of fell off. Magic Mike XXL, I was not there for that one. But
She was saying that that this everything's like essentially like, because I guess she's seeing what's happening on social
yeah.
media, like everyone hates her, and she's like, it's hard for her. And I'm thinking, like, you didn't have to go through this.
No.
You didn't have to make the claims that you did. Like, you didn't. I'm just like,
I do believe something happened. Whether to the extent that she claims it did, I don't believe that's the case, but I think something happened. Um do I think he like physically abused her like in traditional sense? No. I don't think he got drunk and rage stricken and everything and then just
I think one of the most telling pieces of evidence, and this is what it really like put in perspective and it kind of changed it for me, was the audio, all the audio recordings of him. They're fighting, and he's like, he's trying to leave.
right.
He's trying to go be by himself, and she will not let him, and she will blow up his phone. And I have had friends that have been in like abusive relationships, and I have watched as their ex-partners have texted them relentlessly,
Mhm.
called them nonstop, tried to follow them all over the place,
It's
and it's
very
like,
specific. The
it's
behavior is very
scary.
specific.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I get too is like if she's so afraid of this quote unquote monster that he is, why is she sitting there taking pictures of him passed out on the floor and stuff? You would think if he got to that point where he's belligerent and violent and all that stuff, you would leave before he gets like you would leave and go to your
Mhm.
friend's house or shopping or whatever until he sobers
Mhm.
up. Right, but you're gonna take the
Yeah.
time to sit there and take pictures of him where he spills ice cream on himself, and you're supposed to be deathly afraid of this guy. Like it
Mhm.
doesn't add up.
No, it
I think
doesn't.
does he have abuse problems? Oh, for sure. He's he does drugs and
Yeah.
he drinks heavily and he spills and embarrasses himself in these situations. But is
Right.
he abusive when it happens? I don't think so. I think he's
Mm-mm.
just one of those dudes that just gets high and gets drunk and then passes out and he starts tomorrow. But then again, he goes to work like, like he's got to do his job. He's like, oh, that was a rough one.
Did you but before we kind of like end things, did you see like the psychiatrist that was testifying for Amber Heard? Not Hughes, but like the one guy that was like being weird with his mouth and he was like like
No, but I
did
saw
you
that
not
I
see
saw this
that?
dude that like vaped. I don't know what he did. He was like vaping or
He was
something.
the doorman.
Oh God, that's your. That was the other thing they
Um
caught in a lie too, because she said this whole stuff happened, and then the caretaker for the home in Australia or whatever, like got on a plane with her and sent her home. And then
say
like,
that part again, I'm sorry.
oh, so like they tried to get they caught her on the whole thing where she said all this stuff happened in Australia, I think it was, in the house, and he thrashed the house
Uh-huh.
or whatever, and then the caretaker
Yeah.
for that home got on the plane with her and got her back to America. And she
Yeah.
said all this abuse happened there and that she was abused and physically beaten and stuff like that. And then he's like, none of that happened.
Yep. I
She
remember
was
that one.
emotionally distraught, but like physically wasn't, and didn't appear to be. And like, again, the loopholes, like the stories don't add up.
Right. They
Not a,
don't. And
and she's gone through
that's
extreme lengths to like make this story like seem plausible. And it's
what
rough because I think I did see this guy.
yeah.
I did
That's the
see this guy.
short clip of it.
Yeah, I
Like
saw
his
this guy. He's like doing that weird lip smacking
lip
and
smacking thing and he's like, should I answer the question?
is this the one where he
Judge is
got
like,
asked about like Charlie of the Chocolate Factory?
yeah,
And
it
he's like
is. The thing is, he's making a psychological analysis of
he's like
Johnny Depp based off the movies that Johnny Depp does.
yeah.
I'm like, that is so unprofessional on every single level. Like, you're gonna look at Captain Jack Sparrow and be like, this man's a
Yeah, I
narcissist.
guess to
Clearly,
close
his
out. I guess to close out here, we're probably gonna find out Monday or Tuesday, and maybe we'll record and then.
well, not Monday because it's a long
Oh,
weekend. So
that's right. Sorry,
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday. Happy Memorial Day, right? So we'll probably find out Tuesday or Wednesday. They're deliberating right now. We'll probably do some kind of short TikTok clip or something when we find out this verdict,
Yes.
and then we'll post it up to amend this episode. But like, I just like. It's embarrassing. The whole thing's embarrassing. They're just two people they're toxic people to each other. Like it's just not a working relationship. And
I just hope that it's over. Like after this, like they're done, they move on.
I don't
Justice
know.
is served. Although I wonder though, because it's been shown that she's committed perjury. I don't know how it works in like a legal system. Can she get in trouble?
For
Because
perjury? Oh yeah.
clearly, like I've heard some things where it's like sometimes they just won't even bother with it. But like
Depends. It depends on how much.
she's
Like if
lied in
she
the UK.
wins, like if she
Mhm,
wins and he has to pay her what 100 million or something like that, then yeah,
mhm.
like they can go after it because to them it's a lot of money, but to us it's an astronomical amount of money.
Yeah.
100 million's a shit ton of. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, she lied.
Yeah.
Give me my money back, and then I do the process again. But like, it's wild. The whole thing is wild. Thank you for hanging out with us today. It's been a good
Thank you
episode.
guys.
We started on the sour note, but I'm glad we were able to turn it around a little bit for you.
I hope to see you all in the Final Fantasy XIV club scene.
The club scene, Club Spank on. No, I'm sorry, not Club Spank. What's this called?
Is that what you want to call yours?
That's the joke I always make because I forget where I heard it. But club, what is this? Club Morpheon or something. What is this called? Oh, Morpho. Club Morpho. You know, girls drink free at Club Morpho on Tuesday nights.
Nice.
You know, that kind of deal. $5 paps. $5 paps for the boys. Get in there. Guys, you've been all fantastic. You've been great. Let's button up here a little bit. We'll get ready to wind down, close this out. I hope you guys like video game conversation. I hope you like individuals talking about video game conversation because we got our next project lining up.
Yay.
Yay. We're going to bring some friends along for this one. We have officially started expanding the Good People universe with more content for you. I do have some stuff that I'm going to button up here. We do need to get a Discord redone. We're going to redo the Discord. We're debating on whether we have, a community section or not. We're working on that. We're figuring that plan out. We are going to have the social media. We're going to have all new social medias. We're going to have a whole new Twitch channel for this stuff. We have the YouTube channel. We've got the stuff, like we got the real estate. We just need to build our houses and our clubs. So, that's the kind of content we're looking at. Like I said, we joke about it here where we're like, oh yeah, we'll do a video of us in the club scene. It's like, while I'm secretly taking notes here, like Final Fantasy XIV club video, but we're working on content. We're bringing some friends along. You will see those friends very, very soon. Mid-June when we get to, what is the thing called, Hannah? What the hell is that thing?
What?
Oh, Game Fest or Summer Games Fest or whatever.
Oh.
I don't know what we're going to see at Summer Games Fest. Xbox has nothing for fall. Sony doesn't need to release anything for fall. I don't know what we're going to see. But there is a state of play, I think, this week. If you don't know what state of plays are, those are where Sony talks about stuff that's coming out. Are you ready, Hannah? Are you excited? You have to actually start playing video games again.
I know. Hopefully I'll have some time.
You have time.
Bro, I work all the time.
I don't know. You sure made it to Club Spank.
That's true. Listen, live by the club, die by the club.
Live fast, die young.
I'm like, can you imagine finding the club scene life like right when you're about to turn 30? I'm holding on to my 20s.
I hope it like transcends into real life, and then when we do actually go to a club, if you do make it to LA, maybe I'll take you to one of these clubs and then just see you throw down.
I don't know how to dance. I have no rhythm.
It's okay. Neither do half the people in those clubs.
Enough alcohol will make me think I have rhythm. So.
Well, there you go. There you go. All right, guys. We love your faces. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We appreciate you. We will be back very, very, very soon. It would actually be
after my birthday.
After your birthday. If you don't wish Hannah a happy birthday, then you're banned forever.
Yep.
So happy birthdays to Hannah. I'm sure I will talk to you on your birthday.
Yes. June 9th. 6/9. You guys will never forget.
You can't forget Hannah's birthday, guys. It's 6/9. Good job. Good job.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it.
This
is Good People with Erik and Hannah. I'm
Erik.
Hannah. Oh, man.
Oh, you did it again. Do it again. Do it again.
This is the Good People with Erik and Hannah. I'm Hannah.
I'm Erik.
Have a good one.
See ya.